Hey there, friends. This is Dana coming at you live from Philadelphia. My channel is called Karen Cares. I am attempting to get something going here in terms of politics, current events, makeup, chit chat, and just general mom stuff, adulting stuff. I also talk about birth, doula work, and life in general, just the way things are in this stage of life. So if you are into that, if you are interested in those things, please give this video a thumbs up. The reason I'm a little late today is that I made a real effort to try to pull together some information so that this is less conjecture and more information based. Hopefully that's good for you guys. If there is anyone out there that cares to interact or also cares to correct me. If I state something and you feel as though it's incorrect or that it's biased in some way that I'm not aware of, please let me know. I am not against receiving criticism as long as it is constructive and kind. And I hope that anyone out there that tunes into this channel would be willing to do the same. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about today is something that, well, we have two things. Two main topics to discuss today. The mortars that are being dropped in a town called Donbas, D-O-N-B-A-S, which is in Ukraine. I have some information pulled up here for you guys we're going to get into in just a minute. There have been mortars dropping in that area of Ukraine. So there is an impending hot war between Russia and NATO. I'm going to get into that too. We're also going to talk about over Easter weekend that yesterday Biden made the announcement. One of the things he made during his announcement is the statement that every citizen has a, quote, moral obligation to receive the vaccine. I don't agree with that. While I was trying to set this live up, and it took some time because I was gathering so much information, I had things set up to go live on Facebook, and then all of a sudden it crashed. Facebook just crashed. I usually get more interaction on Facebook than I do on these YouTube lives. I think just people are scrolling YouTube and are, scrolling Facebook and will tune in if it's something that they're interested in. So I know I have folks that were waiting for that, and I wish I could, I wish there was a way to make it, to share it actually with YouTube. So the first thing we're going to get into is the war, the impending war that I think is going to happen. Pardon, guys, I'm just sending a message here. Okay, thank you so much for being patient. You guys are the best. We're going to close that out. All right, I hope that I'm pronouncing this right. Donbas, D-O-N-B-A-S in Ukraine. I'm going to pull up the information that I have here. This is just the page from Wikipedia. I'm trying to say Wikipedia. The title of the article is War in Donbas. Donbas. D-O-N. They have it spelled B-A-S-S. I've seen it spelled both ways in various articles. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. In terms of what this area is and what it means, there we go. The Donbas region of Ukraine, part of the Ukrainian crisis and the broader Russia-Ukrainian war. From the beginning of March 2014, in the aftermath of the 2014 Ukrainian Revolution and the Euromaidan movement, protests by Russia-backed anti-government separatist groups. Look, there's so many like keywords here. I really don't even know what this says. Took place in the Donetsk and Luhansk, I can't pronounce this stuff, Oblast of Ukraine, collectively called the Donbas region. So it seems like this area, the other information that I read is that this area is heavy in coal mining. It looks as though there are maybe some pipelines involved in this. But in terms of our involvement in this, here's the thing. We have already had the Russian leader kind of come out and speak out and really put Biden in his place when he mentioned that he would challenge him to a live debate. He knows that Biden could not possibly handle that. We have been called weak by several nations that have been jockeying for the top spot. It is not unusual for countries that are jockeying for that top spot to initiate conflict in an effort to take over or to gain the upper hand. In my opinion, that is this is the beginning of that. I think when we read history books and think about how wars start, we picture, that we're at home and there's just bombs dropping and we're all running and it's chaos. And you know what? Like, that is the way it is for some people. But it happens slowly. When it's condensed into a paragraph in a history book, it seems like it happened fast, but sometimes it happens so slowly and so quietly that you don't realize it until you're fully in the middle. So that's why we're going to go ahead and go into these. This one message. Now, I received this from, I'm going to give this YouTube, I'm going to see if Facebook is going to cooperate. This is the only part that I wanted to get out to people. This is why I believe we are moving into an armed conflict. I don't know that it would be on American soil. We just have too many guns, really. It would be unwise. It would really be unwise to do that. Okay, so this is what has happened in the last 24 hours. Again, guys, if you are here, I'd appreciate a thumbs up or some interaction. It really helps to feed the algorithm monster. I don't know that Facebook would also let me go live. I'm going to guess no. Yeah, no, I don't have that option because the camera's in use. All right. So these are the following things that happened in the last 24 hours that are a cause of concern. No, Facebook still won't let me in. I'm telling you, these shitheads did it on purpose. Okay. The following happened in the last 24 hours. This is a woman in the area of Russia. I'm going to tie this together with a couple articles I have here in terms of Russia deciding to block some of Twitter's users' information and how that ties into this. So in the last 24 hours, Ukraine has been attacked in attacks with mortars in the Donbass. It says the USA and NATO have raised the alert level and are preparing to support Ukraine. NATO submarines have tried to sabotage the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Don't know what any of this is, guys. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. I need to go in and dig a little bit deeper. I did a couple hours today, but it's just like it's getting too much with the kids in school. Russia began mobilizing reservists from 93 to 2000. They've assembled units at the border. Basically, this issue in the Donbass region of Ukraine, right on the border with Russia, because it is a coal mining area, because there are pipelines there, because Russia and Ukraine have been in conflict for some time. It seems like they are instigating something, and by instigating something, they are tempting the United States to get involved. It's a pissing contest, really. It's really sad for these people. Let's see. China has warned NATO not to enter Ukraine. War will be absolutely certain. Now, obviously, this is somebody else's opinion, not mine. It says, especially since it involves so many economic troubles brought by COVID and restores geopolitics. What will Germany do that fell in the middle with Nord Stream 2? Again, I'm researching all this stuff, you guys. So that is one of the issues that we have going on. I have been trying to find more accurate news on this, even going to sources so most of my sources that I try to find that I would share with you guys are going to be sources that you can find yourself that are pretty mainstream. So, again, I'm going to Wikipedia. I have Wikipedia up here. I think I was reading the New York Times a little bit earlier, and it's just, there's a lot of information out there, but it's really hard to see between it and read what's fake and what's not. So, it seems to me like Russia and China are making moves to build their military presence to, gosh, I can't think of that word, when they're essentially puffing up to challenge the United States. I feel like that is where we're going. I feel like the dig at Biden, as much as I may have found it funny, I do not find it funny that our leader is being viewed as weak and feeble and feeble-minded. And that's pretty much it. That's the impression that people have. And so that's really unfortunate. So I wanted to tie this in with some other information. Why aren't we hearing about it? I've been digging through news sources all day, trying to find information on this. There is literally nothing. I was able to find a couple videos that were grainy cell phone footage of the mortars dropping. the thing is, we don't know if that's current footage or not. I don't feel comfortable enough to use that as a source. All it really showed me was an area that had mortars dropping. Could have been anywhere. I have no idea. I don't believe that's what it was. I do believe it was an accurate depiction of current events, but I can't prove it, so I'm not going to use it as a source. What I am going to say is there is this story out here that I did pull up from Newsmax. If you're unaware, Russia has threatened to slow down or to block Twitter. Primarily, I've heard this in reference to human trafficking, that they are trying to shut down child porn on Twitter. Unfortunately, and apparently, there's a lot of that. Thankfully, I don't know anything about that. I think it's horrible. And I didn't know that there was an issue with Twitter, but apparently there is. There are several minors who had been forced into adult entertainment and had been raped and had that filmed and repeatedly played on Twitter. And despite contacting Twitter, they refused to take it down. So now some young ladies, and I believe a gentleman also, are suing Twitter for that. So now we have this, the only story I can find nothing about the Donbass region and anything that I would say is like a mainstream news source. So the closest thing I could find was this article, which is from Monday, April 5th. So from today on newsmax.com in their world section is where I found it. It says Russia extends punitive Twitter slowdown until mid-May. Now, Russia said on Monday it would extend a punitive slowdown of Twitter until May 15th, though it acknowledged the U.S. social media company had speeded up deletion of banned content. Moscow has traditionally taken a more hands-off role in policing the internet than neighboring China. Well, we all know how China polices things. But as friction has grown this year over the arrest and jailing of Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny, it has signaled a tougher line. Russia has since March impeded the speed of Twitter for not removing content it deems illegal and threatened to block it entirely. Photos and videos take longer to load for some users. However, in a statement on Monday, state communications watchdog, I am not trying to pronounce this right, I'm just giving it my best, Roskomnadzor said Twitter had held talks with Russian authorities on April 1st, resulting in agreement to give it more time in recognition that banned content was being deleted quicker. Twitter confirmed the talks with Russia, productive discussion, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Twitter was removing illegal content within 81 hours of receiving a request. Now, again, they're being sued because there were multiple requests made by these minors and they did not take anything down. So let's see. Removing it still much longer than 24 hours. And Hi, baby.
I have one thing to say.
Yes, sweetie. You're supposed to be
where
in
are the
class,
coloring supplies? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know where the coloring supplies is?
What do you need, like crowns and stuff?
Yeah.
Downstairs.
Where?
In the black box. I don't know, in the black box. There's markers and pens, like the paper markers. Like the Posca pens.
Oh, yeah.
And then the alcohol pens that are like flesh colored. So yeah, use them for drawing. My kids are in school. It's long distance learning. I mean, we're doing our best here, right? I forget where it was. Russian authorities have accused Twitter and others this year. I think also Facebook. I don't know if Instagram, probably. Unfortunately, this child porn, human trafficking problem has grown exponentially since these shutdowns. Slavery it is still happening today. It is happening within 2 miles of my house. I know. I know there is a massage parlor. There are several that are open 24 hours, and we all know what they are. I can't imagine that most of them women are in there willingly. Really. There's a real problem. So Moscow said illegally, Russian authorities have accused Twitter and others this year of failing to delete posts that Moscow said illegally urged children to take part in anti-Kremlin protests. So really that's what it is. You know, that's like their main concern is they don't want rebels. They don't want revolutionaries. They don't want free-thinking people to be able to gather the 3.5% needed to make a lasting change. That's what it is. And, you know, they dress it up like this, okay? Roscoe said it wants Twitter to delete content that contains child pornography, drug abuse information, and calls for minors to commit suicide. Okay, why is anybody calling for minors to commit suicide on Twitter or any social platform ever? These kids, oh God, you have to be so sick. Like, you just have to be a complete effing psychopath. Okay. Twitter denies allowing its platform to be used to promote illegal behavior, says it has zero tolerance policy for child sexual exploitation, and prohibits the promotion of suicide or self-harm. After Russia announced the move to slow down its traffic, Twitter said it was worried about the impact on free speech. Right. Oh, right. Okay. So here's the deal. This is why somebody needs to read the news to people. Okay. After Russia announced the move to slow down its traffic, here we go. Twitter said it was worried about the impact on free speech. Twitter, that banned the president of the United States, is worried about free speech. Is that rich? Like, did they not see that they're like a caricature of themselves? God, these people are awful. Okay. As well as Russia, major social media companies have been embroiled in increasing numbers of disputes around the globe. Governments seek to curb their power, yada, yada, yada. So there you go. That's the only thing I could find with Russia. And how that ties into what's happening in Donbass is it seems as though there's some kind of a media blackout. By slowing down the availability of the internet in that area, well, I mean, naturally, if there are bombs being dropped, the internet's going to be spotty there anyway. So, you know, that's a given. But now we also have that Moscow themselves is intentionally slowing it down. They're intentionally slowing down Twitter. These are the main platforms in which people communicate, in which that's how I received this message that this is even happening, so I can do this live and try to research it. I can't find anything on it, and it's freaking me out. Why is there nothing? I don't know if it's going to come out in the coming days. It could mean that we, my concern is that we are going to become officially embroiled in yet another armed conflict. It didn't take long for the Democrats to move into power and to take us from 4 years of no wars being initiated, one of the first presidents in history that never initiated any wars himself. We are a couple months in. He's already bombing Syria. And now we're looking at this war because we've been provoked by countries that want to take over our number one spot, because our number one spot is a feeble, demented old man and some woman that couldn't get 1% of the Democratic vote in the primaries. Nobody even likes her. So now we're going from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris. Do you think that Putin doesn't know that she's a puppet? All right. I got to slow down. Sorry. Okay. All right, so that was the first thing we're going to talk about. I also wanted to get into a little bit Biden's Easter message. I just can't. Yesterday was Easter. I hope everybody had a great time. I am still wishing I could get here on Twitter, but I cannot. It's not letting me, y'all. No service. Wonder why. Screen mirroring. Not playing. I wish I had the settings. There we go. Reset it. Okay, here we go. So again, this article, again, is from Fox News. The reason I do that, I want to bring you guys up-to-date, current sources that are mainstream. No conspiracy theories here. Not today. That's not what this podcast is about. I do love to get into conspiracy theories, though, guys. The thing that I'm researching now is Tartaria, if you've heard of it. Now, for me personally, what I am trying to reason and figure out is the path from Tartaria, from the Nephilim, and from the gods of mythology, how it ties into Old Testament beliefs about the Nephilim and Tartaria, how there is essentially a global conspiracy to cover up the existence of the Tartarians because it proves that the Nephilim is real, which again only points to one creator, and we just can't have that. So I'm reading this book that was given to me by my pastor. I'm going to go ahead and stick it up there. It says The Fallen Angels and the Hero of Mythology. The Sons of God and the Mighty Men, the 6th chapter of the first book of Moses. Okay, written by the Reverend John Fleming. I wonder what year this was written in. I mean, I can tell it's old by the English, by the old English. Nah, it goes right into it. So, oh, here we go. Anything? Contents? No, it doesn't give me a year. I wish I knew what year it was written. Anyway, that's the book that I'm reading, okay? So, we're going to talk about Easter. We're going to talk about the police literally showing up. Thankfully, not here, not yet. I believe this was in Canada. And then the message that they went ahead and left. I don't know if they took it down. They probably should have, though, if they didn't. Okay. Biden in an Easter message calls getting vaccine a moral obligation. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up here. And I'm going to go live on Facebook. How about that? I'm going to do it anyway. All right. So what we have here is Biden saying that that they're getting the vaccine is a moral obligation. He emphasizes the virus is not gone, but also offered hope that light shines in the darkness. Now, him, when he keeps talking about dark winter, I mean, I'm going to really invite you guys to go ahead and look up the history of that term, what it means in the government, in the CIA, his constant talk of a dark winter here. Virus is not gone. It's interesting, because we have all these people that are vaccinated. 2 million people in Pennsylvania are vaccinated. Woohoo! Now there's all these variants. Oh, well, geez. Variants. Wear your mask. At a certain point, you have to decide, to live. You're going to, live in fear in your house and not have a life. Or you're going to go outside and live and risk it, which is a choice we all make every day. I could go outside and get in my car and get smashed by a bus today. Done. Dead. And that would be horrible for my family. But the truth of the matter is that even if you were to sit in your house for the rest of your life and never see anyone, you're still going to die. So at a certain point, you have to decide what kind of a life you want to have and what kind of risk you're willing to take. Moral obligation. My tuckus. Anyway, Easter video released on the president's official Twitter account. So I guess we could go right to Twitter, to Biden's Twitter, but I just don't even care that much. In terms of it being a moral obligation, no, it isn't. Right now, I invite you to look up what Dr. Fauci has said about still needing to wear masks, about variants, social distancing, about whether or not this actually protects you completely from getting the schmovid, or if it only prevents the symptoms of the schmovid. If it only prevents the symptoms of the schmovid, then it's not a moral obligation to anybody for you not to get symptoms. You're still a carrier, whether you have symptoms or not. Your moral obligation is to who? You can still carry it. And none of this makes any sense. So here's what I'm going to say. I am 97% sure that we all had it last year. I don't know how long those antibodies last. This is a mutated virus that has intentionally been changed. And so it is not that I don't fear the virus or respect it. I certainly do. I certainly recognize that it can be very bad for some people. And I don't discount that or think that it couldn't happen to me. I was in this argument with liberals a couple months ago. It was pretty stupid. Well, they were pretty stupid. And, the one girl says, well, are you high risk? So explain this to me. My opinion only matters if I'm high risk. My opinion on what gets injected into my body is only relevant if I'm high risk. Why does that give me some kind of special consideration? I don't understand any of this. Help me. Somebody help me. Okay, so moral obligation, my ass. No, it isn't. We are the guinea pigs. I am not the guinea pig. You are the guinea pig. Sorry, you're the guinea pig if you choose to get this. And you know what? That's your choice. If you really feel like like that's something that's going to benefit you in the long run. I certainly don't spite anybody for doing it. My reaction when somebody's like, oh, so-and-so got the vaccine. I'm like, oh, okay, good. How they doing? I don't care. And I don't argue with people about vaccines on the street. Like, it's just not like that. Now here on my channel, I'm certainly going to get shadow banned for sharing my opinion. So again, I was really concerned over the Russia thing. I wanted to bring it to you guys live here. I hope somebody does tune in and learns a thing or two. If you can find any articles about this, I would be super thankful if you would just go ahead and attach it down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope to come back either tomorrow or Wednesday. If there is any more news from my my little Russian friend, I will let you know. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please give the video a thumbs up. It helps to feed the algorithm monster. Bye. See you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.